This is from an article in the New York Times from July 7th, 2011. And it is on the first study of its kind, which shows the benefits of providing medical insurance to the poor. Now, I can't decide whether everybody is half conscious or whether we've all polluted our brains to death, because this seems obvious to me. But it seems that health economists and policymakers have always questioned whether it would make a difference to provide health care to poor people. It's become part of the debate on Medicaid at a time when states are cutting back on the insurance programs for the poor. It says in the article, in fact, the only reason the study could be done was that Oregon was running out of money and had to choose some people to get insurance and not give some to others, okay, so that they'd have a control and a comparison group. Naturally, some people said, of course, it would help to insure the uninsured. Others said maybe not. Okay, there's always emergency room, charity care, free clinics, and, you're not going to believe this one, the option to go to a doctor and simply not pay the bill, as though if you don't have money, you also have no ethics. You know, that it would be all right with you if you're poor and you don't have the money to not pay a doctor. That has not been my experience. My experience is whether people have money or not, they're ethical or they're not. This, I think, is a real problem here, okay? In any case, if Medicaid coverage is expanded, people will still have trouble seeing a doctor because so few accept that insurance. Not on them. Maybe we should put some laws into place where a certain percentage of each doctor's patients have to be from all classes of people. Don't you love that word, classes, as though we're not all human beings? Now we're defined by whether we're educated, how much money we have, and we're not just human beings. This is really disturbing. Then they have researchers compared people who happened to have insurance with those who did not, as though it was like a birthmark, who happened to have insurance. No, who could afford it because the society had places for the jobs that they were qualified for, and they got qualified because somehow they had money enough to be trained. A lot of this is sticky stuff having to do with the social contracts between government and the people, but that's not what they're taking on here. So then this guy says, and I'm not even going to say his name because I would be embarrassed if I said this and somebody said my name, okay? But it's from the New York Times on July 7th. One of these whiz-bang doctor people said, but those who have insurance tend to be different in many ways from people who have it. They tend to be less educated and have worse health habits and lower income. Like it's hard if you're homeless to be able to brush your teeth and wash your hair every day and use bath salts or bath oils. Oh man, this is getting to be scary. The leaders, not the poor people. The poor people I get. And this guy is an economist, okay? So we won't say, we'll know where the important things are for him, okay? No matter how carefully researchers try to correct for the differences, they can't be completely successful because there's always some doubt about people being the same or different. Well, they figured out anyway that people who received Medicaid did do better. I would say whether they did better or not, Medicaid should be sort of provided for everybody because it's these very poor people who are going to be willing to help the richer people. We have to mutate. At any rate, we have to get sane and stop putting people into these little compartments. We have poor people, we have rich people, we have classes, we're human beings, and if every one of us could look after one or two other people, we wouldn't have the problems we have between the haves and have-nots. This is getting to be an icky place to live.